What's up guys, Lvladen here, and today I'm coming at you with a video on the live 11.1 realms. I just want to go over the talent build that I'm going to be playing at the beginning of Season 2 and my thoughts on Ret as a whole. So let's start with the talent build. The talent build is as follows. I'm running something that looks like this for the most part. I am switching into Divine Resonance primarily, but I'm going to show you guys something that's kind of goofy when you actually untalent out of Divine Resonance. Seal the Crusader right now, you'll notice I'm not taking this talent anymore. This talent has been massively nerfed just in total. Its tooltip is not reflective of its actual healing. Its actual healing is about 20k per auto attack rather than the 63 that it shows on the tooltip right here. Lightbearer, I will also likely play this instead of Holy Ritual when I'm in 3v3 arenas and in big teamfight BGs. I'm now taking, as often as I can, Lead the Charge and Obduracy for about 5% speed increase. I will take Sacrifice the Just in 3v3 and 2v2 arenas for the most part here, but when I'm not, I will take this point and put it in one of the two speed talents right here. Another thing you'll notice is that I'm currently taking Punishment, and that is because I'm now running Templar Strikes. I'm running Templar Strikes with all builds that I play now. One of the reasons for this is that the globals that they fixed. So when you push Hammer of Light in the previous seasons, there was like a weird half global or so that you couldn't really do anything with your other spells. It was just a very clunky feeling spell. That is fixed in Season 2, so the damage and the speed of the Hammer of Light comes out really quick now, which allows you to follow it up with some quick Templar Strikes. I believe the second strike of Templar Strike has a 3/4 global cooldown, so you can get 2 strikes off really, really quickly. A lot of people tell me that they don't like Templar Strikes because they feel like it feels clunky, and my advice to you is think of it like this. If you are in melee range, instead of pushing Hammer of Wrath, you are going to push Templar Strikes. You are now only going to push Hammer of Wrath if 1, the target is below 35%, or 2, you are not in melee range and you have nothing else to press. So Hammer of Wrath would go to the very bottom of your rotation outside of it being in execute range, or you just don't have anything else to press. Templar Strikes does fairly high damage, single target, and it cleaves AoE. And I do really like it right now. The next thing I'll touch on briefly is Divine Toll. So I'm going to show you guys something real quick. I'm going to talent out of Divine Resonance right now because this is the easiest way to just replicate this. So if anyone remembers Shadowlands and Ringing Clarity, we essentially have old Divine Toll back where like all 5 judgments will hit single target, and it's pretty repeatable for the most part. So I'm going to show you guys my combat log real quick, and we're going to slap a Divine Toll, and in theory, if we do this right, all 5 of them hit our primary target. Okay, we had 4 hit our primary target, and that's because this ability is just wacky bugged, and I don't really have a great way of replicating this over and over and over. But you basically, and I wonder if this actually has anything to do with the fact that I have Ringing Clarity on as a conduit in Shadowlands, like all the way back there. Your Divine Toll now at minimum, and this is from like tons and tons of tests, will at least hit your primary target twice. It can hit up to 5 times, and that makes me think that something to do with Ringing Clarity is working in the current game mode. Just very, very odd. Now, if I put on Divine Resonance, let's see if it goes back to striking only twice. Again, this is something that has been like kind of on and off repeatable for me. But there's definitely something wonky with Divine Toll, but it works in our favor because it's hitting, it's hitting pretty hard. All right, we hit once again. Oh, this was 3. That was 3 Divine Tolls and 1 Divine Resonance. So for me, what I notice is that when I have Divine Resonance on, it does less single target than it does otherwise. If I don't have Divine Resonance, then I'm hitting more single target. I think right now, for the most part, we shouldn't really be counting on Divine Toll doing what it's doing. The other thing is, though, like despite Divine Toll actually having a positive, a beneficial bug for us right now, it's also not cleaving. So say, for example, I go over here and I have all these PvP training dummies, and I Divine Toll this target right here, my Divine Toll is not going to hit the surrounding targets. It's just not. So there is a positive bug with Divine Toll, and there's also a negative bug with Divine Toll. And I don't really have a way to clearly identify what's going on here, but definitely something's up with Divine Toll. And currently, for the most part, it's more beneficial than it is detrimental. Now, I want to talk a little bit about, you know, the fact that we have so many judgments going off. I'm also playing Improved Judgment. And the reason for this is that now that Empyrean Hammers are all on players only, it's pretty valuable to up the damage of Empyrean Hammers overall. So the more judgments that we get out, the higher stacks of sanctification that we have, the more our 5 Empyrean Hammers that hit along with our Hammer of Light are going to do. So let me show you guys something real quick. I'm going to judge, Divine Toll, judge, Final Reckoning, Wake, Hammer of Light. Our Empyrean Hammers, we had 5 Empyrean Hammers fall on top of our Hammer of Light. So our Empyrean Hammers did an additional 835k single target damage. And the reason being is that we are buffing the crap out of them with the Sanctification talent right here. Sanctification feels like it is actually worthwhile. The downside is I'm not so sure if that's because of the Divine Toll bug or not. Most definitely, I'm still going to stick with Improved Judgment. It just feels nicer to have 2 charges of Judgment. It allows us to get more Final Verdicts into the Greater Judgment window, seeing as Final Verdict does such low damage right now. If they do end up fixing the Divine Toll bug, which I'm pretty sure it's going to get fixed, then I really think that Final Verdict needs something like a 20-30% buff. This ability is doing almost no damage, and Ret in general, it does really high burst window damage and then nothing in between. Like you're sitting there hitting someone for 4 to 5% of their HP with a Final Verdict in your full burst windows. Now outside of that, I feel like Ret feels pretty good in general. It does less overall healing than it did last patch. Its damage is it feels smooth for the most part. We just have to figure out what's going on with Divine Toll. And I do plan on playing Templar Strikes from now on into the future until I hit a wall, in which case I'll start experimenting with other builds. One other additional note here is Divine Hammer. Now I played a bunch of Divine Hammer testing in BGs, in arenas, in 3s and 2s. I like it in big cleave team fights. It's definitely worth it in big cleave team fights. I don't like it in arena, even when I'm fighting cleaves. And that's because I feel like I just get more damage value out of Templar Strikes into cleaves than I do Divine Hammer. If you get CC'd or kited out on Divine Hammer, you just get very low value out of this ability here, and you might as well have just spent it on like a Final Verdict or something else. But yeah, definitely in BGs, Divine Hammer pumps. In arenas, I don't like it too much setup. Another talent that I'm keeping my eye on into this patch is going to be Judge or Executioner, and I'm definitely going to be testing it out when we get the 2 and 4 set bonus for Ret Paladin because it's focused around Final Verdict. Could be pretty nice. And then, I mean, the downside is that, you know, Final Verdict doesn't hit that hard, so maybe it's really not that great, and it'd just be worth keeping Blessed Champion at the moment. But yeah, that's about my plans for my starter build right here. Actually, just to briefly touch on PvP talents as well. Our PvP talents are garbage now. We have Blessing of Sanctuary. We have Blessing of Spell Warding against cleave teams. And then outside of that, like our DPS talent is Spellbreaker. So say, for example, I'm playing against melee. I would most likely end up running a build that looks something like this. And then I'd get rid of Punishment, put it into Consecrated Ground. That way we have both Hallowed Ground and our Consecration slow. But I mean, we don't have an active Consecration anymore. It's all proc from Blade of Justice. So we can't just get that nice Hallowed Ground to remove us under our feet unless we're already on top of them. So our options are limited. Talents that I'll never play really are Ultimate Retribution, Shining Revelation. I'm never going to play those. Spellbreaker, okay. There are some scenarios where I'll touch on spreading the word. Like if you're in a BG and you pop Blessing of Protection and there's a lot of physical damage dealers, like the 30% wall you could see some value. Probably not going to frequently play Luminescence, and despite that big number looking like 200% increase, that's really only making Lightbearer heal your allies for up to 30% of a heal if you're low HP. So this talent, you're getting very, very, very low value out of it. You might as well just, pick something else. I don't know. And then, of course, Searing Glare. Searing Glare is okay. So looks something like this. And then if you're against casters, you take Spellbreaker and Spell Warning like this. All right. I think that's pretty much it. In terms of gearing, my plans are to pick up the 2-piece as soon as I can and the weapon this week. As long as we get our BG quest done and we get those like 9 heraldries, we should be able to craft our competitor's greatsword again. And then I'll grab the Bloody Token Hands, convert the Bloody Token Hands to the tier set, and then I will get my 1600 and use that second charge of the Catalyst during week 1 on buying a chest piece and then converting the chest piece to the 2 set, and then we'll have our weapon and 2 set on day 1. That's my plans, and then I think maybe I can buy like 1 more piece. I don't know what I'll buy for that last piece. If I have the Conquest for it, I think it'd likely be boots, but I don't think I will. I think I'll have to be like some off piece or something. All right, guys, thank you for watching, and drop a like, subscribe, follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.